What I'm going to be showing you today is the OKI Pro 8432WT and the OKI 711WT. Now, both of these here print white toner, but the Pro model prints up to 11 by 17, which is a bigger print, and your 711WT just prints a regular paper size, which is 8.5 by 11. Now, both of these printers are pretty expensive. The 711WT, which is a base model, is almost $3,400, and the Pro is almost $6,900, which is pretty expensive, especially for the Pro, because for $6,900, I mean, you can buy a lot of screen print equipment. Even with this one right here, the base model, it's $3,400. Again, you can buy a lot of screen print equipment for that price. Now, this review here is not just going to be a regular review, just because I'm very familiar with the 711WT, and it's almost identical to the Pro. The only difference, like I said, is going to be that the Pro prints a bigger size. I actually used to have this OKI 711, but I ended up selling it just because the single volume just wasn't working for me. But like I said there at the beginning, there's a lot of money being left on the table. I'm trying to find the best way to make it cost effective and to make it profitable. So first, let's start with the base model. Now, the base model here it's a two-part transfer application, which has your A side and your B side. I'm going to show you a little bit more of that later on as we get into the video. Also, this base model here doesn't come with any RIP software. It does come with the toner, but again, no RIP software. Now, the RIP software, I'm really not too crazy about. Just because RIP software sometimes is not compatible with all computers, especially if you have an older computer, an older operating system, if you will. And also, you're not going to have a lot of flexibility as far as RIP software. So if you were to go this route and get this printer, I suggest learning how to RIP, how to actually export these files in Photoshop rather than just getting a RIP software. I've read some of these reviews here that they can't get certain colors to print because the RIP software is not compatible with their computer. Also, the RIP software is very expensive. The software here, let me see here. So this printer here is $3,400, and with the RIP software, it's almost $4,000. So the software itself is $600. So you can definitely get a copy of Photoshop. What I use with this one, I believe it was Photoshop CS6, and it worked really well. I never had any problems with it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video of it actually working. So these transfers here are going to be actual like colors. It's not going to be like your transparent transfer. Like right here, you're going to have glow in the dark transfer, there's a foil transfer, and there's also a neon transfer. And as you see this printing, that is real time. That's not actually sped up. So that's going to be a big plus. And the reason it prints so quickly is because it's a laser printer, not an inkjet. Now, as you see there, it's a two-part process. It's going to be a A-B. What you're going to do is take your print and add it to the B side, which is the backing, and you're going to press that. And I believe all that really is going to be some type of adhesive, or that's going to be the self-weeding that it's going to do here. As you see there, yeah, it kind of looks like an adhesive. So once you got that, what you're going to want to do is cut all the edges off, because the edges are going to have a little bit of gunk on them, and they're always going to have that little bit of gunk. If you don't trim those edges out, you're not going to have a clean print. So here you're going to be ready to print and get that going, ready to press. And side note here, I like that that swing away arm heat press, just because you can have a lot more surface to work with, and you don't have that heating element right in your face. Check that out, how easy that comes out. Imagine you having to weed all that out. How long would that take you? How long would it actually take you, not only to weed out, but to actually plot this, to get this cut in your vinyl cutter? Plus, you have the issues with, you know, all the detail with all your vinyl moving and having to throw away vinyl just because it's moving on your plotter, or just the time it takes to plot this. But I mean, this is quick, so that's definitely a big plus. One of the issues that I had when I had this machine, and you can kind of see here on the top of the F, that little squiggly line right there, that you see that the transfer actually came off on that, which is gonna happen because on your heat press you're gonna have cold spots. So what I recommend you doing if you were to get this machine is press it, kind of move the image a little bit, and repress it, because if you just press it one time, that heating element, you're gonna have cold spots, kind of like you have cold spots in your flash dryers. Some flash dryers, they have cold spots just because of the heating element. If you don't have an infrared flash dryer, you're gonna have cold spots. So there it is. Now that one there, I believe that's going to be the glow in the dark print, which is pretty cool. It glows under UV light. Now this is going to be a different demonstration here. And again, that's going to be printing in real time. One thing I will say about these prints is the print kind of has a foil feel to it. It's really shiny, and it has kind of just a weird foil feel. If you ever printed with heat transfer vinyl foil, that foil print, it has like a kind of like a hard feel to it. That's kind of how this is. Also, like I said, it's going to be really glossy. You can probably see it there a little bit, the gloss on it. You really can't tell too much, but it has a real heavy gloss to it. But again, the great part about this is it's self-weeding, and the wash on these they're okay, not too bad. I've had a shirt that I've made, like I said, a few years ago when I had this machine, and I mean it kind of faded out a little bit, but I mean it still kind of looks cool. It has like a distressed look to it, but that's after a few years of washing regular wear. So look at how easy and quick that was. Again, imagine having to weed this out. If you had, what is that, a 4-color print, if you had to cut blue, if you had to cut white, if you had to cut yellow, if you had to cut the red, and then lining everything up, you know, it's really time consuming. So on a job like that, on a single, no way would you take that job. On this one, you might be able to take that job because of the time it takes to actually press his shirt. So let's get back into this here. So on this machine here, another thing that's cool about it is it not only prints on garments. You can print, as you can see there, you can print on bottles, you can print on awards, you can print on wood, you know, different substrates you can print on. Now to print on these materials, you do need different paper, specialty paper, which you can readily get on, you know, any of these websites. But on the flip side, you can also get the same effect with a sublimation printer, and you can probably do a lot more with a sublimation printer, minus printing on dark garments. Plus, a sublimation printer is a lot cheaper. So let's check out some of these reviews, what people are saying about the OKI. All right, this was actually a year ago. I purchased this printer in November and have had nothing but issues with it when it comes to the toner. The other colors work fine, but the white toner was the entire reason for the purchase of this machine. As I get the other colors through the customary use of sublimation printing, even HTV, basically they're just saying bad customer service. I've spent over $12,000 on this machine, including the machine itself, replacement parts, toner drums, transfer paper, which runs $4 per sheet, and have tried several troubleshooting avenues. The total doesn't include the amount of money I've lost due to the fact several shirts were completely ruined by the white toner disaster. Okay, again, this is why I really don't like RIP software, just because of the fact, again, that you're gonna have less flexibility to actually correct a problem if you run into something like this. See, this print here looks decent. Don't see anything bad there. Let me see, this is another review, 1 star. I've had this printer for almost a year now and I've had nothing but problems with it. The toner, not good as advertised, works better with cotton, terrible with polyester, spots on color like red and blue, black not really black. Black always come out with a red outline. Okay, now this issue I'm not too familiar with. I've never really had this problem. I've actually printed on 100% polyester, like a dry fit type material. Never had any problem. The one thing I would say is, like I said earlier in the video, you would have to press it. Your heat press is going to have cold spots, so you're going to want to move it and repress it before actually lifting your transfer. Another 1 star here. The printer does not deliver as promised. It's overpriced and the transfer paper is too expensive and poor customer service. Okay, so that's another bad review. So 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. Okay, so those not good reviews there, but let's go over the pros and the cons. Okay, so pros: prints very quickly. It prints white toner, prints on dark garments. You can print on various materials and promotional products. Prints up to 11 by 17. Price of the transfer is comparable to 1 sheet of heat transfer vinyl. And I was looking for another pro, but that's really going to be about it. Now the cons are going to far outweigh the pros. Cons: very expensive point of entry. As I'm seeing these reviews here, poor customer service. The prints kind of have a hard foil feel to them, not really a soft hand. The prints are overly glossy. Sometimes it's okay to have a glossy print, but these are really overly glossy. The RIP software is really expensive, and you would definitely need that if you're not too familiar with Photoshop, because it is a little bit of a advanced application to try to rip the software in Photoshop. So if you just want something like a plug and play type thing, you would have to buy this $600 RIP software, which is very expensive. So when I bought my machine, I was actually looking for something to do short runs with. So kind of looking online, came across this, watch all the videos, you know, kind of like what it was doing, but I really didn't look at the bad sides of it. I just saw what it could do, and I just got tunnel vision and just went with it. Once I got it, I kind of really wasn't feeling it too much, so I sold it. You know, I bought it brand new. Took a real hit when I sold it. It really didn't work out for me. So overall, this is probably something that me personally I would pass on, but I'm gonna leave the link in the description so you can check it out for yourself. I mean, maybe it's something that'll work for you. Again, I'm not knocking it too bad. It's a decent machine. If you're not really too familiar with vinyl, you know, thermal, and you don't really want to get into that. You don't want to have to buy all these different rolls of material. You don't want to have to buy a plotter. You know, you're definitely going to need, you know, the cutting software, you know, all these different things that you need. This is really a standalone machine. You're just going to need this and your heat press, and you're ready to go. But just for short order runs, decent. But yeah, just didn't really work out for me. Again, this is going to be a series that I'm going to be doing on reviewing different screen print products. If there's a product you'd like me to review, definitely leave it in the comment section, and I'll do my best to review that. Again, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check you on the next one.